Good evening, people. Something you can't speak.
Yeah.
Okay, video's on. Oh, this is chai and wine, right? So this is not only videos on, this is video on plus a cup. Yeah, so it's a mandatory. If there is no cup, then out of session. Acha, somebody is in the bus also. Wow, that is dedication. What time is it? It's 6:05 for you guys, right? 6:05. So do we have everybody here, or are we still waiting on some people? Video is also off. Kutora, Renu Jain. All these are Chirkut. Coming late, like. Okay, we have to do the mandatory photo, but we will do it in the middle of the session. So make sure you have a cup. This cup. उसके अंदर कुछ भी डालो, गर्म पानी, हाँ, कॉफी, चाय, जो भी, हल्दी, मिल्क, जो भी डालने का डालो, बट कप होना चाहिए, है ना? वो you remember, तेजा मैं हूँ, मार्क यहाँ है, वैसा कप होना चाहिए. चाय एंड वाई के लिए you have to have cup. Okay, good. So we can start, and then anybody whose video is off, whoever is the admin, just put them in waiting room, and then they can get out and come back in. Very simple logic, you know, because how many times will we say that? Switch on video, switch on video. Oh, I mean, if you're in the bus and all, it's okay. You can keep your video off. No, fine. No problem. But people who are not in a bus and people who are not driving a car. Surendraji, you're not driving, right? You're driving. I can see you're in India. Your windows on this side. You're driving. Sale. No driving. Okay.
No.
No, no. No. Okay, chalo, let's start. Hopefully there are some questions. Otherwise, it's going to be a short session.
Yes, Bhaiya, we have questions. To start with, first question is, Bhaiya, mantras are in Sanskrit, and therefore it is said that they need to be pronounced with great precision, as their effect arises from the correct chanting of these words in Sanskrit. But there is something which is considered as powerful as any mantra and said to have all those prospective effects to offer. That something is called Hanuman Chalisa, but that's not in Sanskrit. In fact, it uses Tadbhav, Hindi, not even something. For example, Jog, Prasiddhi, where then does it effect arise from?
Where does the effect of the mantra arise from if it is not in Sanskrit? That's the question.
That's right, yeah.
So who said the mantra only has to be Sanskrit? See, the first thing is that the mantra is the biggest kept secret. How a mantra works, nobody knows. And people who know will not tell. That's why it's a secret. If it's not, if the people who know start telling, then it's no longer a secret. Again, so mantras is one of those the Maha secrets. One is how life happens, like that. So mantra is a secret. But so I'll tell you my understanding. So everything moves from the subtle to the gross. Even look at it in your life. First, what happens? A thought comes. Then that thought cognizes into some understanding, and then that understanding translates into action, right? That is how it's happening. Because if I don't have a thought of picking up this cup is not going to be picked up on its own. Thought has to come, understanding has to happen. Oh, pick up cup, muscle has to move, that action has to happen, all that. So it always moves from gross to subtle, right? So which means that all the knowledge that we have with us today must have come from the subtle, right? You can't just have knowledge in the gross and it not being in the subtle, because everything moves from subtle to gross. So the way of tuning into the subtle to manifest that into the gross is one of the mechanisms, not one of the mechanisms, is mantra. And mantra is essentially using intonations of sound, which is correct vibration, frequency vibrations. And then somehow those frequency vibrations go from the gross to the subtle, and the information from the subtle to the gross comes back. This is what is happening in mantra. It is beyond language. It is on the frequency of the intonation. And in Sanskrit, since it is a phonetic language, the intonation is exactly how it is written. You cannot have a word in Sanskrit that is pronounced as rendezvous, but is written as rendezvous. It is not going to happen. That is not going to happen in Sanskrit, because Sanskrit is phonetic language. How it is written is how it is pronounced, right? So these mantras are written in precise words that have, when they are chanted properly, when the Shiva is said properly, Shiva, then that Shiva Tattva is invoked automatically. This is the power of Sanskrit, but it is beyond language. You could do the same thing in Hindi, like for Hanuman Chalisa, which is the old Hindi. The intonation of the Hanuman Chalisa has to be perfect, then that Hanuman Tattva is invoked automatically. It is like there is no difference in playing, let's say, a drum beat on a banjo versus a tabla. It is the same. Once you understand music, you can make the music in any instrument. So it doesn't have to be tabla is the only correct sound and banjo is the wrong sound. It's not like that. You understand? So it's all a matter of the right intonation frequency, because the subtle has to be downloaded, and that downloading process is highly secret. Nobody understands. But this is how I think it works. This is my understanding. Okay, hang on. I have a phone call. Hang on. Okay, so there's some confusion about Kriya. So people have showed up for Kriya, but Madhuri will take Kriya, so no worries. Okay, let's go. What's the next question? Do you understand the answer or no? It's clear, right? For mantras.
Next question is, Bhaiya, how to keep balance between materialistic life and spirituality?
Why? Why do you want to keep balance? Why do you want to keep balance? If you're so happy in the material world, you will not need to keep balance. You want to keep balance because you're unhappy. You think that, yeah, something is missing. That thought itself brings you back to balance. You will not do excess one thing or the other thing. Let's say you're only doing spirituality and you say, yeah, that guy, he's eating pani puri, mere ko bhi khana hai. Which means you're not happy in your spiritual practice. Okay. So you're not already not in balance. So you will come to balance. You will eat one puchka, something, one pani puri, you will eat. And you'll say, acha, take care, So the balance only comes when you realize that you're out of balance, and automatically balance, you go towards balance. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. Because if I tell you do these 17 things to bring into balance, your life will be so complicated. There'll be no sahajta in your life. You will be just, yaar, ye rule, wo rule. Kuch bhi karne ka ek rule aayega beech mein. You want to eat ice cream at night? Some rule from Ayurveda will come. No milk products at night. अभी साला आइसक्रीम का ड्रीम लेके सो जाएगा तू. खा ले आइसक्रीम यार, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Eat the bloody ice cream. Who doesn't matter. Don't do it every day. एक दिन आया, eat it. Excessive following of the rules is a hindrance on the path of spiritual growth. This is coming from the Hatha Yoga Pratipika. It is written there. Excessive following of rules is a hindrance. Which also means following of no rules is equally a hindrance, right? So it automatically comes in balance. There is no free lunch. So it's like that. I cannot tell you how to bring your life in balance. You will know exactly what to do.
Their next question is, what will I learn in this session?
Nothing. You learn nothing. You will only unlearn stuff that you have stuffed into your head. सब जो भूसा भर के रखा है ऊपर वो निकल जाएगा सब. That you only unlearn. In our sessions, you don't learn a damn thing. You only unlearn.
Why meditation is must for professionals?
So, not only professionals, meditation is must for everybody. Why? Okay, why do we meditate? Because, acha, this cup is yellow, predominantly yellow. You're all nodding your head because you don't have tinted glasses. You wear red colored glasses, then you tell me if this cup is yellow. It'll look green. अभी जब tinted glasses पहनते हो, when you wearing red colored tint glasses and you're looking at something and it looks green, is it green? No, it is a distorted, you're looking at a distorted signal. Okay. We are all living like this. Our mind is picking up signals and distorting it depending on the state of the mind. If you're a if you're a left brain person versus a right brain person, the same signal will be interpreted differently in your brain, so you don't know what the reality is. You think you know reality because यार मेरे को तो green दिख रहा है बॉस, लेकिन चश्मा ही लाल है, तो कप येलो है. अभी बोल, है ना? Like this we are living our life. So meditation, what it does, meditation balances the hemispheres of the mind, of the brain really. And then the perception becomes clear, it becomes less distorted. So professionals want information in a less distorted manner so that then they can take good decisions. Again, but everybody wants to do that, not only professional. Why only professional? Everybody, tabla player wants to hear the sound of the violin without distortion. Otherwise, his beat frequency will be different. So he needs undistorted information. Everybody wants undistorted information. So meditation is at the level of the mind, whatever signal is coming will be undistorted, which is why meditation is a must for everybody, not only professionals.
In the process of being righteous, not able to accept the wrong people, wrongdoing of the people, there is a lot of resistance from inside. I feel I'm stuck with right and wrong. How to transcend these opposites?
Yeah. So yeah, if you're stuck in opposites, you're done. How to start transcending opposites? There's only one guy who figured it out. That is Patanjali. Because he realized that, boss, if you're stuck in opposites, forget about samadhi. It's like impossible. So he devised a process, which is the 8 limbs of yoga. And it's not instantaneous, but it takes a really, 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 really long time. But it's a finitely long time. Eventually, that samadhi will come for everybody who follows this. And one of the things that he tells, I'm not going to give you answer. I'm only going to give you where you will find the answer. One of the things he says there is specifically do this so that you can start transcending the opposites. उसमें दिया है Patanjali. If you haven't learned, come and learn the Patanjali Yoga Sutras and it becomes actionable. So these recordings that we did on the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we looked at it from the point of view of physics. And there you'll get the answer. So Patanjali is the place to go. If you want to transcend opposites, study Patanjali. Not Patanjali soap products, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, okay? Okay, now's the time to take photo. Now, अबे camera on कर. Cup निकाल सब लोग. You have to have cup, otherwise go out of the frame. No, seriously, I'm not kidding you. Come on, come on. Everybody's at home anyway. People who are driving, okay, they are a little bit messy, but जाके कप उठा के लेके आ. Come on, you're wasting everybody's time. What's going on? How come everybody doesn't have cup? चाय and के लिए आए साले without getting a cup. कम्बक तूने पी ही नहीं. Yeah? Okay, come on. We have to pose. Somebody will take a snapshot. 3, okay, on 1 we will take snapshot, okay? Come on, get ready. अरे आधा लोग का तो वीडियो भी बंद है. ये क्या है? Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, done. Chalo. We'll take another one. Next question.
Yeah, just a second. Somebody did wrong to me, and due to that pain, mentally I wish bad for them. I feel bad about these thoughts, but whenever I remember those incidents, the thoughts are negative, and that itself is a big punishment. Though I will never act on these thoughts. How to forget these bad incidents?
How to forget these bad incidents? Yeah. So you're holding on to the bad incidents because you thought that what happened to you was not deserved. It was undeserved. है ना यार मेरे से तो I did not deserve that, but it happened to me. That is why you're holding on to it. Nothing that you don't deserve ever happens to you. This is the law of the universe. This is the law of karma. Nothing that you don't deserve ever happens to you. Ab bol. That thing was deserved. You deserved that thing at that time. If I shout at you, you say, "Yaar, bhaiya shouted at me." You bloody deserved it. Shout kya? Ek jhapad lagana chahiye. You see? You don't know what you are deserved. You don't know कि क्या करके आए हो तुम लोग पीछे से. In other lifetimes, what have you done? We don't know. We don't remember the time we were born. We only remember 1 or 2 years after. We will not remember anything after we die. We are living in this potential well of memory. We don't know what the heck happened before, what's the heck going to happen after. We don't know anything. Nothing happens to you that you don't deserve. Once you realize this, you will not hold on to it. Ki yaar, it had to come to me, khatam baat, end of story. This person had to yell at me. They yelled at me, finished. Now you're free. Right now you're free. You are bound because you thought you did not deserve that yelling. What deserve yelling? You were deserving a spanking, but because you have a guru in your life, you got away with simply yelling. Abhi bol. You got away with it, yeah. Be happy.
All the gurus preach good things, but I see people who are doing wrong and flourishing. Yet people slog and face challenges. Those are on the righteous path. And I mean, due to this, my faith gets I get disheartened and my faith shakes. How to keep up my faith strong when these things are falling apart?
What is falling apart? What is falling apart? Same, this is the same as the previous question. You think that this person is doing wrong and he's flourishing. क्या मालूम पिछले 20 lifetimes में क्या क्या पुण्य लेके आया आदमी. कि अभी कुछ भी कर साले, you have golden touch, you do anything, you will be successful. This is the thing they have brought with them. Look at Ravan. Look at Ravan. Okay. Ravan was more skilled than anybody else. He was the biggest devotee of Shiva. He had the highest knowledge of astrology. He knew everything about the Shastras. Complete Pandit he was. Do you remember him as hero or villain? तुम्हारे माइंड में रावण जब बोलेगा तो क्या आता है? विलन आता है ना? You don't see a talented person. Distortion of vision है ये. This is distortion of vision. You think यार रावण इतना सक्सेसफुल कैसे हो गया? अबे he acted on it यार. He did intense tapasya. He did all kinds of stuff. He studied the scriptures. He had Shani as a prisoner in his palace. साले उखाड़ ले जो उखाड़ने. I am the controller of astrology. तू जो करने का कर. Shani was powerless in front of Ravan. Now, तुम बोलोगे Ravan was a villain. अरे, but he is the most talented guy. The whole universe had to collude to beat this one person. He was better than Ram in everything. 100% better, not only a little bit better, miles better. Ram had nothing about even warfare. Ram did not have the warfare knowledge. Ravan had better warfare knowledge. Ravan had better understanding of scriptures. Ravan was a bigger bhakt of Shiva than anybody else. Ravan is the guy who came and performed the puja for Ram to begin the war against him. He was a pandit of that level. Yet, we think that Ram is the hero and Ravan is the villain. Who makes the hero? Who makes the villain? It's our understanding. If you look at it as simply qualities, Ravan is the hero. Ram is nothing in front of him. Yet Ram won. Why? Because Ram had one thing that Ravan did not have. And that one thing is the most important. It is called charitra. It's called character. That is why it is Ram Charitra Manas. It's the character of the person which is supremely important than any of the other qualities. Which is why Ram is the god and not Ravan. You understand? You have to think, your perspective has to be clear.
Great.
I have more aversions than desire. If desires, I can fulfill them and finish them off. But how do I deal with aversions? My emotions are intense when I witness the aversions, such as fear, anxiety, restlessness, and they pop up again and again. How to handle them?
Aversions is the same as desire. It's just standing upside down. It's a reflection of the desire. So your desire for comfort is your aversion for discomfort. There is no such thing as aversion. It's only desire. So when you reduce your desire for comfort, your aversion to discomfort automatically goes away. Do you understand this? You have to only reduce desires. You cannot do anything to aversions. Aversion simply reflection, the -1 times desire, the reflection in the mirror is your aversion. How do you reduce the shadow? You're looking at the shadow because you're facing away from the light. You want to reduce the shadow, you simply turn towards the light. There is no more shadow. You understand? Just work on the desires. That's it. Forget aversion. Aversion will be taken care of automatically.
How to handle procrastination?
Okay. So procrastination means kya? Procrastination simply means that something else is more important to do now than this thing. You know, suppose you want to study for exam and you're saying, I'm going to procrastinate. You're procrastinating means you're not studying for your exams. That's the meaning of the word procrastination, right? Whatever needs to be done is not being done, which means studying for exams is not important right now, but I have to watch the Netflix series called Breaking Bad. Yeah, Joby. Put anything there. Huh? जाम तेरा देखा है वो calls वाला where he gets the credit card number. क्या amazing है वो. I would definitely watch that over studying for physics. Who cares about studying physics? Watch this one. Which means I'm procrastinating. Procrastination is nothing. Procrastination simply means whatever needs to be done you think is lower in the order of priority of your doing of the action. That's it. Which means it's on you. You have to just bring that thing upper in your order of priority. Then there is no more procrastination. Simple. Do you ever say, यार आज तो सांस नहीं लूंगा, 5 दिन के बाद लेता हूँ? No, because boss, there is no 5 दिन. You're done. So there is no procrastination on breathing. Like that, there are no procrastination on many essential things. Then the non-essential things, there is procrastination because our priorities are different. That's it.
How to handle loneliness?
This is a terrible thing. Loneliness, loneliness is more harmful than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. There are studies to show that. Loneliness is terrible. So how to handle loneliness is to develop connections, is to develop, how do you develop connection? You have to develop the skill of putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Once you do that, automatically there is connection. आगे वाला is behaving like a complete jackass, idiot साला, ठीक है? Why is that person behaving like that? Put yourself in those person's shoes. कि क्या हुआ उनके life में that they are now behaving like this? Automatically you are connected. That connection happens from your side. That person doesn't even know that you are connected to that person, but it helps you. Loneliness is eating up yourself. The way of making connections from your side is helping yourself. It's not about the other person. It's about yourself. You find a way to make connections. Don't expect others to make connections with you. If you are a very boring person and you're sitting in the party and doing like this, कौन तेरे से बात करेगा बे? Who will talk to you? You have to put your effort. You have to stand up, and even if you don't know how to dance, Pappu can dance साला. कुछ तो भी हिलने का है, उसमें क्या है? Just move your ऐसा ऐसा कुछ तो भी करो. Somebody will come and teach you how to dance. Automatically connection हो गया. The hindrance is from our side, yaar. The loneliness comes because of hindrance from our side, not from the other person's side. If somebody asks to sing a song, you'll say, no, I cannot sing. Arey, everybody can sing. तेरे को bathroom में बंद करेगा मैं. You will sing like a Kishore Kumar. Because nobody is looking at you in bathroom. In the party, you think you're in bathroom. And गाले, क्या problem है? 2-3 notes off key हो गया. Okay, even if all notes are off key, who cares? At that point, nobody is caring. They just want to. Your enthusiasm will catch with them. You will sing a song. Oh no, I cannot sing. Arey, everybody can sing. Guruji says this. There is a song inside of you. Till that song comes out, you will be uncomfortable. Once that song comes out, you will be unstoppable. Find that song. How will you find that song? By saying, no, I cannot sing. You will never find the song, yaar. Sing. Only when you sing 1500 songs, you will find ki, yaar, this is my song. That's it, done. Finished. It is so simple.
I get hurt by my own people, like parents and brother. I have told them many times but they repeat the same thing. I feel I get hurt because of my ego. How to handle my ego?
So you know you're getting hurt, right? यानी उसको बोलेगा इधर मारना, इधर तो मारेगा वो. Don't say इधर मार, खत्म बात, end of story. You know you're getting hurt. Why are you getting hurt? Because you expect them to behave in a certain way. You expect them to do certain things in a certain way. Where is that expectation coming from? Not from their side, from your side. So drop the expectation. खुद जो कर सकते हो करो. You wait for the other person to change. And then you say, yaar, they're not changing. Abey, have you changed? Soch. खुद का देख. Have you changed? No. Same thing for other person. They are also not changing. They're also waiting for you to change. You're waiting for them to change. Everybody's just waiting. Nobody's changing. खुद से जो कर सकता है करो. You change yourself.
Where is there any? Oh, sorry.
Hurt only comes when things don't go according to your expectation of how they should go. सोचो तुम. Think about your life. When do you get hurt? कि यार उसने मेरे को थैंक यू भी नहीं बोला. अबे वो एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ थैंक यू तेरे पास ही था. He is thankful from inside. He or she is thankful. वो बोला नहीं. तो उसके लिए you feel hurt. Oh, he didn't say thank you to me. I did so much. अबे छोड़ दे. वो थैंक यू से तेरा happiness छीन रहा है. What are you doing? Drop the expectation of the thank you. I tell you, once you drop the expectation of thank you, Janta will keep thanking you. You will be overwhelmed with thank yous. यही तो law है. You don't understand that. You drop your expectation, it is fulfilled right away. खत्म. You hold on to your expectation, साला झक मार के universal से चल. उखाड़ ले जो उखाड़ना है. Thank you नहीं चाहिए ना, नहीं देगा thank you. You will help 25 people, not a single one will say thank you. Universe will make it that situation for you like this. You'll be miserable, I tell you. It's because of your expectation.
Is there one single program, course, or training that integrates all aspects of consciousness? And would you consider it necessary for concrete progress of one's spiritual journey?
Yes, that course is called life. Life will teach you. और कोई कोर्स करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Life is the course. They will beat you into shape, sir. You're lazy, they'll make you work. You think you know everything, they will put smarter people in front of you, or more importantly, they will put dumb people in front of you. You think you're smart, huh? Deal with these dumb people. Automatically, तेरा सब skills आ जाएगा बाहर. Life will straighten you out. And this is a game you can never win, because in the end, you're going to die. Life will win. But still, you have to play the game. You have to play the game of life with 100% enthusiasm. For how long? For 100 years. It's written in the Shastras. For 100 years, play the game with full enthusiasm. There's only one course. All these other sadhana techniques, etc., are chiller in front of life. Life is the biggest teacher.
Whereas this is in reference to the previous question itself, that there are two types of training which Art of Living is giving. One is DSN, BTP, YLTP, which is like rigorous kind of training. The other one is absolutely extreme silence. So, I mean, he's the question who has asked this question is really confused about the Rajasic element and the consciousness sattvic element.
Both are needed. Both are needed. So the DSN and the chak, 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 chakas, all this is also needed. All this random drama is also needed. Why? Because there are two things. One is passion and the other is dispassion. Okay, there are always two things. One is passion, one is dispassion. Passion is needed for all these chak 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 chakas DSN type courses where you have to act in the world. When you're acting in the world, 100% passion is needed. The silence is needed because you have to invoke dispassion also. Dispassion is the complementary opposite of passion. So in the silence program, dispassion is invoked. Your system is invoking dispassion. The problem happens because people's thinking is ulta. They want to be dispassionate in life, in the world, and passionate for their sadhana practice. That's a recipe for disaster. Nothing works there because you look like a loser in the world and you're already loser in your spiritual practice because the spiritual practice progresses only when you invoke dispassion. But at that time, you are passionate and you're dispassionate in the world. Flip it around, I'm telling you. Flip it around. Be passionate in the world. Be passionate in the world. Go and get that red Ferrari. Seriously. Go make your millions passionately. But when you sit for meditation, drop all that. Invoke dispassion. Then you will be successful. Passionate in the world, dispassionate in sadhana. Both is needed, which is why the two extremes of courses are there. There's the DSN, there is the YLTP, there's the jagas, all that rah stuff. And there is this Sahaj and Kriya and deep silence, which is also needed. Both are needed.
How to take Ujjayi breath?
How to take Ujjayi breaths? You have to learn how to do Ujjayi breathing on chai and why. No. There is a session called Kriya Ready. Sumit came up with this session. He comes up with these random sessions and I said, okay, fine, I will do that. So he came up with this thing called Kriya Ready. Kriya Ready mein aa jao. Then we will do how to do Ujjayi breath, how to all that. All your Kriya practices, we will fine tune in that session called Kriya Ready. So we will send the information. So Sumit will set it up and we'll send it.
Why death is not peaceful?
Who said? जो मरा है उसने तेरे को बोला कि death is not peaceful. How do you know? Tell me, how do you know that death is not peaceful? You will know when you go through it, but you will not be able to tell anybody. This is the problem. You will not be able to tell anybody. What you're saying is that the process of approaching death seems highly uncomfortable. That I agree. Your body functions are not working, and you don't know what the heck is going on. And I mean, it's a perspective from outside. I don't know what the perspective of the person who is going through is, because there is no way to know that. So it looks like a very painful thing, but from inside, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the only explanation I can see is, let's say you are falling into a black hole. When you are falling into black hole, you will not even know that you have fallen into black hole. You won't even know. Person on the outside will see you being stretched very thin and going past the event horizon and all this other stuff happening, but that is from their perspective. That's a again it's relativistic. From the observer point of view, you are being stretched and pulled thin, and time is standing still for you, and all this stuff is happening. But for you, you will not even know that you've gone into the black hole. For you, nothing changes. So like this, it must be for death also. For the person who's going into death, it's just one more step, tuck, and then one more step, done. For person on the outside, they heart stop beating, resuscitation, all this stuff. But for that person, it's just one more step, finished. Just like falling into black hole. I mean, the physics is there. You can write the physics of the black hole from the person falling into it, nothing changes. From the person outside the black hole, you're completely dismantled, your legs are getting stretched from your head and all this stuff. But for you, you will not see a thing.
If I take a long, deep breath, I notice my thoughts are gone. What's the physics or chemistry behind it?
Thoughts are gone. No, thoughts are not gone. It's like this. When you're in swimming pool and a loud band is playing on the outside, there's a lot of noise in your ears, right? Your ears can pick up a lot of sound. When you go a little bit under the water, put your head under the water, that sound suddenly goes away. So you think the sound is gone. Sound is not gone. You understand? The band is still playing. That's what's happening when you take a deep breath in. All the noise in your head is still there. It's not front and center. That's it.
Okay, so I just had one question, like what was the difference between chai and coffee? And why chai and why not coffee? What's better?
There is no such thing as what is better. It's just a preference. So chai and coffee, क्यों लेते हैं लोग? Why do they drink chai and coffee? Have you understood that?
नींद उड़ाने के लिए?
Yeah, the chai and coffee is simply a nimitta. It's just a bahana to sit around and chat
Chit-chat.
and discuss stories. In the old days, there was no Netflix or Amazon Prime or nothing. So Janta would sit around the fire and say, आज एक एंटीलोप था, वो भाग गया मेरे से यार. तो दूसरा बोलेगा, अरे तू फुटप्रिंट देखा क्या उसका? नहीं देखा. हाँ, then he'll tell a story. 2 साल पहले एक एंटीलोप था जो भाग गया, उसका मैं फुटप्रिंट्स फॉलो किया और ये हुआ. So that other person learns from that person's story, because there was no written books or anything. But there has to be something to keep them there. So there'll be a pot on the fire which will have something brewing, and that would be normally chai or eventually coffee or daru or anything. It's just even beer and wine and all this stuff came about because in the social gathering there has to be something, some mechanical action that you keep doing so that the stories will start flowing. That's the thing. How much we have learned. What is the, I'll tell you, in IIT, where do you think the most learning happens? It's not in the classroom. It is at the chai ka tapri. हम लोग जब जाएगा 8-7 में कटिंग चाय पीने के लिए, we didn't even afford have the money to have a full glass of chai, boss. We would have cutting. वो कटिंग चाय में इतना सीखा हम लोग. वो सीनियर्स बोलेगा ये हुआ वो हुआ कुछ तो, then we will tell the same story with the juniors. That whole IIT culture comes because of chai. Because उतना पैसा ही नहीं है to buy coffee. सोच, है ना? Now, after so many years, we have a legacy project. Now in IIT Bombay, if you go, there is a building called Cafe 92. It is like the go-to place because we set it up because how much we have suffered for not having a good chai place on the campus. Our whole batch, after 25 years, we put in all the money and we built this whole Cafe 92, where now Janta can go and have nice chai with samosa or jobi, Mari biscuit, yeah, jobi, whatever. Because we know the importance of chai. The studies at IIT don't happen in the labs, nothing. The learning happens over chai. I'm telling you from my experience.
Right.
Okay. और कुछ?
So do you meet your old friends on chai?
Yeah. I mean, if you go to the Physics of Pranayama YouTube channel, you have a hangout session with Baba, myself, Kashi, Birju. We are just hanging out in conversation. You talk, you see. And yeah, whenever we meet, if there is no chai, the host, हम लोग host को बोलेगा तू बैठ. Somebody will make chai. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि there is a meeting of Janta coming together without chai. It is impossible. There's no such thing. It's like the rule of physics. Ki when people meet, there has to be chai. And I didn't know. One of my friends from IIT, his name is Arnab Bhattacharya. He's at TIFR now. And he looks like a proper scientist, like gray hair, as a lamba. He's like Einstein 2.0. He's a really smart guy, engineering physics. He has a session, I didn't know this, but he has a session that is also called Chai and Why, where he looks at the physics. I mean, he's a TIFR guy. So he looks at the physics of, let's say, how rail tracks are laid out in Bombay Central so that so many trains can come in and out without collision. He looks at the physics of that. He looks at the physics of color coding viruses so that people know where those viruses going and which part of the organ it is attaching it. So there is a physics to that. So he talks about that in his sessions called Chai and Why, but I did not know that. So I started these sessions called Chai and Why, and I told Arnab ki yaar galti ho gaya because I didn't know about your session. He says kuch farak nahi padta yaar, chai is in our blood. Tu bhi bol Chai and Why, main bhi bolta hu Chai and Why. We will all do chai. So this is why I did not change the name. I was ready to change the name also, but Arnab okayed me to have the same name as his session. That's the importance of chai. लेकिन चाय को गाली मत देना, क्योंकि नशा शराब में होता तो नाचती बोतल. ठीक है? So don't blame chai. Okay. All good? Done? Done? We done?
We have questions over here.
Done with questions, right? Okay, good. ठीक है. Was it fun? मजा आया? So if you are interested to on your own time to understand Patanjali, to make it actionable, it's not a story. Patanjali Yoga Sutras is not a story. There are actionable things that you can do to progress on the spiritual path. Narad Bhakti Sutras is not a story. There are actionable things we can do to progress. Ashtavakra Gita is not a story. There are actionable things we can do. And it all comes from, when you look at these things from the point of view of physics, then the action becomes real. You can actually do these things. So if you want to study on your own, there is a whole series of recordings that is available. Okay. And you can buy it. And these donations go to World Culture Festival anyway. So you can buy the recordings and listen to that on your own if you're interested to grow. If you're not interested to grow on the path, then you don't need to do any of this stuff. You can be where you are. But if you're interested to grow, then you buy these recordings and you listen to them. Good. Anything else? So Sumit, you can share the information. You can share the information of these recordings on this group. Okay, so Janta will know. Okay.
I have 50 mental retardation, and he keeps screaming and shouting most of the day. How to handle him?
Yeah, so this is a complicated thing. So is he under supervision of a physician? This brother? There are some doctors.
No, he's at home.
But yeah, he's at home, I know, but is there a physician he's under some doctor care, right? Or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So ask the doctor how they can make him more comfortable. And then from your side, just make sure his physical discomforts are eliminated. That's the best you can do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's difficult. But I remember Guruji saying this once somewhere. Somebody asked him the similar question about mentally challenged people and how we can help them and all this. And he said that they are not uncomfortable. They are just different. And we perceive that difference as them being uncomfortable. This was very interesting for me to hear that Guruji said it, that they are not uncomfortable. We think that they are uncomfortable because of the way they are acting is not normal from what we are used to. That is why we think they are uncomfortable. But medically, I think you have to listen to the doctors. Medically, what they tell, you have to do. And at home, just do your best to make them physically comfortable. That's the best you can do. And after that, you just be patient. Okay, done?
Okay.
Okay, that's it, right? Anything else? ठीक है, चलो. Have an awesome day. Jai Gurudev. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Bhaiya.